Have you ever wondered what it would look like to see the world through new eyes? Well, buckle up, kids. I have got a story for you today. Never thought this is one that I would be able to share, or that maybe that I would share. But here we are. Today is Wednesday, May the 17th in the year 2023, and this is the inBLOOM podcast. I'm Josh Bickford. I am your host. On this podcast every day at 9 a.m. Mountain, well, every day being Monday through Thursday, we spend a little bit of time enjoying a delicious cup of coffee together, and we talk about what it looks like to thrive in life and in real estate. And a lot lately, we've been talking about the future and what is coming. So let's begin our morning with a sip. I have got a wild story for you today. All right. Well, before we start, I'm just going to tell you to suspend your disbelief today. Just follow along with this. It's not going to make any sense. I'm imagining I'm going to get lots of comments that people say it's not true. What I'm telling is not true, or it's impossible, because it's true and it's impossible. So I had a very wild experience last week. I guess it was last week at this point. And I'm going to share that experience with you. I often have told my daughter that one of the very interesting things about life is that you can only see the world through your own eyes. So, someone who's colorblind has no idea how vibrant color is and what it looks like. Like if you go into a beautiful garden, or you're at the beach watching the sunset and the sky is lit up. Somebody who's colorblind has no idea what that is, and vice versa. If you've never been colorblind, you have no idea. I can see color, so I don't know what it looks like to see through a colorblind person's eyes. If your vision is terrible, and you're talking to someone with perfect vision, there's no understanding on either way of what that looks like, and that doesn't even get into belief systems, or why two people can believe or see the world in completely opposite ways and both be convinced that they are correct. And it's just the way that they see things. That's always been something that kind of fascinates me, because it should humble us to think that maybe we can't see every single perspective that there is. Maybe that we're not right about everything that there is, like that kind of thing. So I had this experience. I went to a conference in California. Man, I can't believe I'm sharing this with you. This is a wild story. So I went to this conference in California, and the entire reason I am there is to meet somebody. I was invited to go to one in Southern California, and then I went to one in Northern California the next week. The people I was with wanted to go to Northern California, but there was someone there I was there to meet. So I kind of tagged along for the ride. So we're in one of the sessions, and oh boy, we're in one of the sessions, and the speaker stands up and says, "I believe that God wants to heal people's vision." Which, like I'm sitting there, what? So they said, if you have glasses on right now, stand up. You may notice I'm not wearing glasses. My entire life, I have had an astigmatism, which means that your eyeballs aren't perfectly round. What I didn't know until a couple of months ago is that causes you to see things differently. So because your eyes aren't perfectly round, depending on how severe the astigmatism, or kind of the oval shape of your eyes, it might stretch letters way out. So when you're reading, it looks weird, or it might compress them. For me, the thing that was very easy that I learned, when you are driving at night, stoplights and green lights and that sort of thing for me, it was kind of diagonal. There was a streak of light that would go through them, not a just perfectly round kind of glowing orb around the light. I saw a YouTube video that detailed that out, and it blew my mind, because that's all I've ever seen, obviously. And the the idea that people see things different. Some people have a line that goes sideways, and some people have a line that's vertical, and other people see a perfect round orb, and some people it's so blurry they can barely see the light. Like, it's wild to me because I've never seen a stoplight or a green light or a yellow light or a street lamp. I've never seen it any other way than the way that I've always seen it, you know. And I've had that condition since I was born. Like, you're born with that, and there's no medical way to heal that. You can't get surgery to get your eyes rounded off. There's not a pill that you can take. You have astigmatism, and that, you know, like, you wear glasses for that. For me, it was very minor. The kind of key things for my own life with it, if I was reading for a long time, I would get tired. And like driving at night, I would get tired because the muscles in your eyes have to work harder because the shape isn't quite right. So anyway, there I am in the room, standing up with a whole bunch of other people. And my eyes get really dry and scratchy, like right here, right on the outside tops. It almost feels like there's electricity going like, meet, meet. Like, oh, this video is wild. I told you to sit back. This was going to be quite the story. So my eyes, you know, like, it was really bothering me. I was like, oh my gosh, this is really annoying. And that went on for the rest of the night. So it wasn't like instantaneously. It did that a couple times. All of a sudden, everything's different. But when the guy he prayed real quick and then said, go ahead and sit down. I was like, that was weird. And I put my glasses back on and everything was blurry, which was really weird because obviously you put your glasses on and it makes everything clear. And then I took my glasses off and my vision was clearer than it's been maybe my whole life. Like, I was normally in a room that's all lit up like that with stage lights and all that kind of thing. My eyes water a little bit, and, you know, there's a little bit of fuzz to that, but it was crystal clear. And I still don't know what to do with that. It's crazy. My vision now is perfect. When I drive at night or when I see street lights, I see perfect orbs of light around them. My wife keeps asking me if I'm going to put my glasses back on. You know, hey, you've been sitting at the computer all day. Are you tired? No. Hey, are you getting tired because you've been reading? No. Like, my eyes are totally different. Like, they no longer have an astigmatism. So literally, somebody stands up at random and says, I think God wants to heal people's eyes, prays, and I have round eyes in my head, which is crazy. That's wild to me. And the other interesting thing from it, and this is probably more interesting because this part doesn't sound crazy like the first part does, even though it totally happened. Like, it's like a story you'd read in the Bible or something. It's crazy. I see things differently now with new eyes. Like, I just read a little bit ago that there are people who believe in the commercial real estate space in New York City that only 10% of the properties, maybe not even 10% of the properties that are in the office category have any equity. That's a disaster. You know, it's horrible. And you want to know all I can see? How amazing New York City is going to be when those outdated office buildings that we no longer need get turned into something amazing that we do. You know, are we going to have, are those going to get converted into homes? Are those going to get converted into restaurant and shopping venues? Is that going to be an activity building that is it going to be a totally new category that we've never seen before? I don't know, but I see cities are going to be amazing on the other side of this. Like, what kind of fun can you have? What kind of creativity can you bring out if you have, think about how big office buildings are, how many hundreds of thousands of square feet are in them. What can you do with that if it's blank slate? Like, what kind of creativity are people going to pull out of the ether, so to speak, and recreate our city? Like, we're going to be around. I shouldn't say we're going to be. We could be around when our cities become like what we watched on the Jetsons as kids, you know, like we're going to enter into a wild transition, and the backside of it's going to be awesome. I see I was in California all week and I see them solving all their problems. Like everything's going to get a little bit worse than it is now for a while. Crime's going to get worse. There's going to be a little bit more homelessness, that kind of stuff. But then we're going to fix our problems. And California is going to get to rebuild to be the beacon that it is to this country in a whole new way, with a blank slate, and frankly, with an unbelievable canvas from which to begin from. It's wild. Never, ever, ever thought that I would be able to, it's impossible for you to see the world through someone else's eyes. And yet, going on about a week now of that very thing. So that is my wild story for today. I have plenty more where that came from, actually. I watched another guy get healed of Parkinson's. That's what a wild, life-changing thing that man went through. To suffer through Parkinson's for a year and then immediately it's gone. No longer has it. Crazy. But anyway, I thought I would share that story with you, give you something a little bit lighter today than the typical what's coming, where we're going, strictly real estate talk. Kind of let you into my life a little bit. I definitely want to use this podcast to teach you how to see the world through new eyes as well. That's something that I want to do moving forward. I've said before that I want to see people thrive. I've written down 10,000 people thrive going into 2025. I viewed it as bridge building over the valley that's coming. It's cool to give you a thing or two that will do that. But probably it's even cooler to show you how to see the world through new eyes and completely change the future. So we're going to focus on that a little bit going forward as well. So I hope I didn't weird you out today. Ask me all the questions you want. That was not something I was expecting. It was not something that I ever thought would happen to me, or that well, frankly, let's be honest, that was even a possibility. If someone asked me, do you have something you would like God to heal? I probably would have chuckled prior to that. And yeah, that's something that Jesus did, but it's crazy, crazy experience for me that I'm obviously, you can tell, still kind of trying to figure out how to come to words with it. But I thought I would share it with you today. I hope you had some fun with it. It is absolutely amazing to go from what I had to, and my vision was good before. It's like I didn't have to wear glasses all the time, but I've never in my life had a time where I didn't need to wear glasses at all, or didn't get tired when I was reading. It's awesome. And here I am in my 40s when my vision is supposed to be going, and it got all the clearer. It's wild. So that is the podcast today. If you got value out, if you think if this is something that you think you need to share with people, because it's an amazing, it's a miracle. Share the podcast. Subscribe if you haven't. Leave a comment. Let's have a discussion about this. I'd love, have you ever been healed of anything? I'd love to talk about that. If you've been around something like this where I never had, we can talk about that too. And if you want to talk about ways that we can look at our futures through new eyes, I am all about that too. Know that I appreciate you. Know that I cherish our time together. I hope you had fun with this. I can't wait to see you tomorrow. I hope this is one of the best days of your life. God bless you. We'll see you tomorrow morning.